I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal for how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was taught with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawn. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, I'll cast it like hey ya.
Yo, what's good, party people? In the place to be, it's your man, Uncle Freezy. Welcome to the Knicks Morning Drive. What's good, what's good, what's good? What is good? Off to a late start this morning, man. It happens. Y'all forgive me for that. But I am here in the place to be with y'all, rocking with y'all. Y'all saying Bayon, what's good? Will Salkin is in the building. Chef NYK, what's good? Kane Jerry, Real King, what's good? What's good? Man, it took me a power nap and it wound up being more powerful than I thought. Yeah, man, it took me a power nap and it wound up being powerful, if you know what I mean. But I'm still rocking. I still want to be here, man. We want to do this every day. We gonna grind, baby. We're gonna grind. We're gonna grind. Don't forget about the pod couple coming your way 6:30 p.m. today. I'll get the thumbnail out and the preview out for everybody that's subscribed to the channel. You know what I mean? Check out the pod couple with Sergeant Knicks, aka G-Man for Life, and Cornerstone Kev. That'll be coming your way. That'll be a treat. 6:30. D is balling in the building. Anthony D is in the building. What's good? What's good? Speaking of pod couple, what's an odder couple than me and Anthony D? But the conversation though that we be having be smooth like velvet, man. That thing be me and Anthony D together. It's smooth like cognac, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't need no chaser with that. And that's all him. He doing all the peddling. I just be along for the ride. But I'm a ride or die. What's good? Stafford Don, what's good? What's good? Cuts, Kicks, and Knicks is in the building. What's good? Here we go again. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Bam. Knicks brunch drive. Let's go. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Blessings. Bless up everybody. Everybody. Anthony D said cognac and Knicks. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So I had a few things that I wanted to talk about with y'all as usual. Sometimes the conversation don't necessarily go in the way that I want to start it, but it is what it is. It's a drive. It's a drive. It's like, when you drive, the conversation start one way and it ends somewhere else, but it don't matter because the topic is still the same. Let's go Knicks. That's the topic. Every day. Knicks. Let's go. You feel me? That's the topic every day. We start the conversation in one direction. It go whatever direction they want to go in because I'm involved with people, with human beings, with Knicks fans. And Knicks fans want to have their say, and I am the guy that's going to let their say be heard. Right? That's what this is for. The Knicks Want to Drive, the Knicks at Night podcast. That's what those two are for. We got other shows. We have Knicks versus is on the comeback. My main man, Chuck B, work schedule has been bananas. That's why you hadn't been seeing him. But Chuck B is still the captain of Knicks versus. And then we have Knicks Freestyle with Free Key and the Ghetto Intellect. And the pod couple with G-Man for Life and Cornerstone Kev. And we're going to start putting those out more frequently. We're going to put those out more frequently. The Blorangetears Debate League soon come. Waiting on some stuff to come back. That's in the pipeline. I'm just waiting for some stuff. And when that come back, ooh, boy, you talk about entertainment. Right? Entertainment. The Blorangetears Debate League. Knicks fans going at each other's throat. Time on the clock. The shot clock. I'm giving Knicks fans a shot clock to get their beef off. And on the line is a shiny championship belt. And yes, it's on the way. It is on the way. That championship belt soon come. When that championship belt get here, I'm going to put the instructions and the rules out on the community page and give y'all like a two week notice. And then we're going to get that shot clock ready. Duke is in the building. Danny Lee, the Kanye Day kid, is in the building. What's good? What's good? What's good? I see y'all out here. So one of our good friends, a friend of the show, hit me up last night panicking. And I ain't gonna say his name, right? I ain't gonna say his name. I'm just gonna say it rhymes with Rod Darby. Yo, one of the friends of the show, for real, one of the friends of the show called me up panicking, right? And I ain't gonna say his name, but his name rhymes with Rod Darby. Yo, he called me up panicking like, yo, can Mitch be as good as DeAndre Ayton? And I laughed. So, hey, Rod Darby, you owe me a Sprite. Because when I read that text, I spit soda everywhere. Mitch, as good as DeAndre Ayton, man, please, man. That was the laugh of the night. That was the laugh of the night, right? Can Mitchell Robinson. Robert Paul was good. Was good. I read the tell. I was standing in front of some ladies, right? Just chilling out. Hey, antisocial retweets the thing every time. AC is a killer. Shout out to AC. Shout out to Antisocial. Shout out to Antisocial sharing our thing on social media. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that keep us afloat. Y'all don't notice, all the little things is what keep us afloat. You know what I'm saying? Like going on that community page and commenting. You know what I'm saying? Boost Mobile be out there holding it down. You know what I'm saying? All the mods in here that actually care about the channel. You know what I'm saying? They care. Like the channel come on, when I don't come on time, my phone be blowing up. Like, hey, they're like, hey, fat boy, where you at? And I'm like, I'm not fat boy. I'm coming. Eli M, what's good? What's good? But anyway, shout out to everybody that's supporting the show. And one way or another, whether it's buying a merch to help pay the bills, like to all these subscriptions and stuff that I have to have in order to put out accurate information. You know what I'm saying? Like shot percentages and shots from range versus certain defenders and all that stuff that most of y'all don't know that I'm using. But I'm using it in order to present accurate information. Right? Right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. ESPN ESPN probably got their own stats and info, whatever. But you got to have you just can't get up here and talk without having statistical breakdowns and all that stuff. You got to have it in order to be accurate, put out accurate information, and that's what we do here. I don't just ramble on. As a matter of fact, I try to put an emphasis on that. If something is borderline, I'm putting it up on the screen so there won't be any doubt or debate about what's accurate and what's not. So shout out to all my people that's in the trenches, buying the merch, supporting the channel, getting on social media and tweeting and retweeting and commenting, building a name for the channel. Shout out to the mods that come through here. You know what I'm saying? Be at the gates. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the trolls out and everything. Yo! Marquise Walker's in the building. What's good? What's good? Be Civilized is in the building. What's good? Triple digits. Wow. Wow. Every time I think about triple digits in NYC, y'all know I think about that joint, Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee. Spike Lee, when you talk about my Knicks, do the right thing, Spike Lee. I know you watching. So anyway, one of the friends of the show hit me up. Like, yo, do you think Mitch can be as good as Ayton? How much better is Ayton than Mitch? Right? How much better is Ayton than Mitchell Robinson? I'm going to tell y'all this. It's not even close. It's not even close. For one, DeAndre Ayton has superior mitts. He has superior. I mean, when you talk about DeAndre Ayton's hands, his hands are like the hands of elite guards. And that's what you want from your big, right? You want a tight end down there. You want tight end hands. You want Mark Bavaro hands down there. That's what you want. Right? You want Mark Bavaro hands down there, right? That's what you want. You don't want Evan Ingram hands down there, right? That's what we got right now, right? We want Mark Bavaro hands. We don't want Evan Ingram hands. Okay, that's what we want. We want Jason Witten hands down there. right? That's what we want. We want our big to be able to catch that thing in traffic and do something with it. You know, he don't have to be Odell Beckham, right? We don't need Mitch to be Odell Beckham. What we need, we don't need Odell Beckham hands down there, right? We need a big body with hands down there that can catch and finish, right? Right, here's the other thing that I know y'all gonna get to, right? This right here. DeAndre Ayton had CP3. Man, listen. It don't matter if Mitchell Robinson had John Stockton and Magic Johnson. He does not get open. What are we talking about? How you going to expect a point guard to find you when you're not trying to get open? Mitchell Robinson, I've seen it with my own eyes. I don't need to pay $14.99 for a fancy website to show me that Mitchell Robinson does not get open on the pick and roll. All he looks for is verticality. All he looks for is a run and start so that he can out-jump people at the rim. That's all he looked for. He looked for the lob. That's it. Bro, ain't nobody holding Mitch back. Mitch is raw. R-A-W. Mitch is raw. And he shouldn't be raw after 3 seasons in the NBA. At least be al dente, Mitchell Robinson. Hey, Ms. Mocha, al dente is the word, right? Yes. Yeah, al dente, Mitchell Robinson. At least be al dente. I'm not knocking Mitch because defensively, I feel like he's better than Ayton, right? Defensively, Mitch is better than DeAndre Ayton. Let's not even, you know what I'm saying? Don't even do it. Don't think the Phoenix Suns defense, evolves around DeAndre Ayton being a defensive stalwart. Let's not do that. Let's not have that conversation. Let's not go there. Right? Troy Flett is in the building. What's good? Hey, y'all saying Big On, this is a good question. I have somebody already lined up. I can't say. As a matter of fact, y'all seen him already. Yeah, he's been on the show a couple of times. And he's a former college player, current college coach and scout, I guess. He's been on a couple times. The Knicks at Night podcast. I can't remember if he's been on. I don't know if he's been on the Knicks One and Drive. I can't remember. I doubt it. Right? Naruto Goku, what's good? What's good? What's good? But here, yo, Rob the Knick is in the building. Rob the Knick, what's good, OG? Rob the Knick is the blorangetears OG, double OG, right? We mess around and have beef on the channel. and I'm calling Rob, and he know that. And he know that. Michael Panzer was good. Yo. I remember this one time we had some beef behind the scenes, right? It wasn't beef with me. It was like an issue with somebody from like another channel or something crazy, which I didn't have no beef with it. It was just somebody here had beef with something. And then I was like, yo, if y'all don't kill this mess, I'm gonna call Rob the Knick. And everybody was like, all right, don't call daddy. Don't call daddy. We good. We'll drop it. Yeah, man. So, but anyway, shout out to my main man, Rob the Knick. I gotta find a way to use Rob the Knick's talent, bro, because my man's got some stuff with him. So, but here's the thing. A friend of this channel texted me last night. I spit my Sprite all over the floor, and the ladies was like, "Uncle Freezy, that ain't cool." I was like, "Yeah, but you got to see this text message." And I showed them the text, and it was like, "Who was DeAndre Ayton?" So anyway, sorry about that, y'all. That's my dog barking. Every time his girlfriend come outside, he loses his mind. Johnny Davis is in the building. What's good? So here's the thing. Mitch is not there. I'm not saying that he can't get there, but these two dudes are the same age, came out in the same draft. One guy, DeAndre Ayton, was the number one pick. It happened. Somebody's got to go number one. Right. The other guy was a mystery man, dropped out of college, trained by his uncle, something crazy. He was trained by Shaman Williams, something bananas. Didn't really impress. Was raw. Was shy. And in NBA videos, he wouldn't have talk. You know, and he wound up going to the perfect situation. He wound up going to the Knicks, right? And the Knicks babied him like they should have. The Knicks hid Mitchell Robinson and got him NBA ready. The perfect. It was a perfect situation for Mitchell Robinson, because he could have been drafted by the Lakers and cut and traded around, sent to the G League, and been on the Washington Wizards by now. But he came to the Knicks, and the Knicks had a bad roster, but a lot of heart. And Mitch came here, and you know, the rest is what we call history, right? The rest is what we call history. So, but is Mitch? Think about what I was asked. Is how much better is DeAndre Ayton than Mitchell Robinson? It's simple. Mitchell Robinson and DeAndre Ayton is light years ahead of Mitchell Robinson. And here's one thing I'll say to you. In a dribble handoff, DeAndre Ayton, if you don't put a man on him, he gonna shoot a jump shot in your face. Yo, Udi Mack is in the building. What's good, Oops? What's good? Good to see you. And I ain't gonna say the friend of the name Show, but I'm just gonna say his name rhymes with Rod Darby. Oh boy. I be in this room. Sometimes I have so much fun to myself. I have to look around. I be like, man, you here by, you know what I'm saying? And so the thing is, okay, I'm getting alerts. For some reason. I'm not for sure. All of a sudden, the alerts want to come out of the blue. Want to show up out of the blue. I don't know why that is. Right. So here's the thing. We're not saying that Mitchell Robinson doesn't have elite athletic ability. Of course. Of course the dude has elite athletic ability. Of course he does. Of course this dude might be the fastest center in terms of foot speed in the NBA. Right? Of course. But you have to couple that with basketball skills. Because hustle and athleticism can only get you so far. Right? Yo, Oots is saying, hopefully you don't start talking nonsense. To who, Udi Mac? Like hopefully I don't start whispering exactly what Oots want to hear. You know me, that's what I do. I just say whatever Udi Mac want to hear. You know us, that's what we do. Be Civilized says 60% better. Mitch is better defensively and Ayton is better offensively, but also a good defender. But Mitch can catch up by putting that work in on it. Yeah. But here's the thing. It's little things. It's nuances. So it's not just learning the game. It's thinking the game too. Right? It's like not learning how to play chess. It's thinking chess. Right? It's not just like, so I'm a chess player, right? And in chess, it's not knowing what your pieces can do and then what they can do with each other. It's what is the defense doing? What is their strategy? What are they trying to do to you? You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of thinking the game on the fly, right? Like I'll give you an example, right? GM said Obi Toppin. GM said Obi Toppin is NBA ready, right? That's what they said. And in my opinion, Obi Toppin was NBA ready. But you know what he wasn't ready for? A team with subpar talent. A team that didn't think the game at a high level, low IQ offensive players. Obi was like, why is Knox in the dunker spot? Why is Nerves Noel at the top of the key for three? Why is Taj Gibson in the deep three corner? So Obi is like looking like this ain't, he running around and like this stuff ain't right. And people that don't know the game per se, that just watch the game broadcast, and nothing wrong with that. Because everybody's not going to be a coach, and everybody is not going to think the game like a player. They watch it for entertainment value. How they judged Obi Toppin is he only had 4 points and 1 rebound. But when you looked at Obi, like Obi would be cutting off the screen, and Kevin Knox would be in a dunker spot, and he'll look to the corner. Well, maybe I can run to the corner. Nerlens Noel is there. And so now he's like, what's going on? And Tibbs is like, Obi! Hello, Wise, what's good? What's good? And so now, Obi saw the game in its perfection at Dayton under Anthony Grant, running a motion offense, right? Then he gets to the Knicks, and it's mid post up by your power forward or or the Buffalo offense, the screen continuity offense. And I don't expect y'all to understand what all that stuff means. All I'm saying is that it wasn't exactly the offense was a mess because it was ran by all defenders, basically. It was like putting Lawrence Taylor at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? You like putting Lawrence Taylor at quarterback. I mean, come on. Yeah, it was like putting Lawrence Taylor at quarterback, man. You don't put Lawrence. You don't. Oh, not Lawrence Taylor. How about this? It's like letting Buddy Ryan run the offense. You ain't gonna get nothing out of that. Right? You ain't gonna get nothing out of that. Let me do this thing real quick. Oh, thank you. Let me do something real quick. I forgot to put the link in the chat. But yeah. So Obi, all of us are taught the offense in a certain way, and then the Knicks ran the offense in a different way. How about that? How about that? Yeah, what's up, boss?
What up?
Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So my thing about Obi Toppin is this. Obi Toppin was NBA ready entering the draft. I don't doubt that then. I don't doubt it now. I think what happened when he got to the Knicks is he saw a defensive-minded head coach in his first year try to establish a winning culture with defense and hustle, and said that the offense will come in year 2, 3, and 4. Right.
Well, that's what he said at the draft combine.
Right. And by doing that, you had guys that didn't know their place in offense, like your Reggie Bullocks, your Kevin Knoxes, your Taj Gibsons, your Nerlens Noels, your Mitchell Robinsons. They didn't know where they fit. So when you run offense, when you run the continuity screen offense, you know what I'm saying? It's guys screening for each other, 3 screens up top. And y'all saw it because y'all saw, and don't act like y'all didn't recognize it. And I'm talking to everybody. When Elfrid Payton came down the floor, he'd find Julius Randle on a dribble handoff. RJ Barrett would cut behind Julius Randle to pick up the ball, kick the ball out to the other side of the floor to Reggie Bullock. Reggie Bullock would come wrap back around and pick up the ball and take pass to Julius Randle, and Julius Randle would ISO.
That's one set they would do. Another thing they would do too is that they would have Randle at the wing, and they would run a dribble handoff with Bullock, and then Randle will he'll like fade to like the wing or like the corner, and then it didn't have that. Then they'll run back and switch spots, and then that would be the offense a lot too.
Right, right. So Julius Randle could either drive to the basket or post up. In that set that you just said, is it's the same. It's the continuity offense. That's what Tibbs ran in order to get Randle ISO'd on one side of the floor away from the defense, and on that side, it's the continuity offense, and we recognize it as that because there was no 3-point shooter in the short corner for Julius Randle. That short corner 3 is always empty. Right, that's the reason why you run it, because you want it to be that, because you don't want a man or a extra defender on that side with Julius Randle.
Correct.
Right, you know what I'm saying, and so what that does is it creates a situation where Julius Randle can make the play from the high post, or he can back his man down into the low post and create his own shot. Right, but
or ISO 21 feet away from the basket.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what you're going to get, right? That's what you're going to get when you run it. That's what you're going to get. You get Randle on one side, one player at the top of the key, and three guys stacked on the other side of the floor. Right? And that's what you're gonna get after you. So but the thing is, the coolest was good. Right? So, but the thing is when Obi Toppin sees that as a NBA ready rookie, when Obi Toppin sees that, he's like, what is Taj Gibson doing in the corner for three? The personnel says that Taj should be in a dunker spot. But then when you put Taj in a dunker spot, he's not even a dunker. Okay? Right? And then you got Kevin Knox in the dunker spot. And he's not even a dunker. He's a corner 3-point shooter. And is good at it. Right? But the thing is when you looked at Obi, you were like, you know what? And I'm not gonna say you, but I'm gonna say you. Y'all was like, they said Obi was NBA ready. Obi ain't ready.
That's what they said.
But Obi was ready. But you know what? The Knicks weren't ready. The Knicks weren't ready because the Knicks didn't have a point guard capable of directing people. Knox, get out of the dunker spot. You're not a dunker.
It was also where they used him too, because they would just have him sitting in the corner sometimes. And if you notice, they would run certain sets, or maybe like within the play, Obi would slash to the bucket, and he'll get that ball around mid like 10, 15 feet area, and he'll be very effective in that area.
Right.
But they didn't use him that way.
Right. And I'm glad you pointed that out too, because Obi would run the play, and when you don't have good passes with good court vision, if you can't, like if your skill players can't throw crispy passes,
right?
Even though you made the right read, your timing is off. So by the time Obi catches it, the defense has recovered. Exactly,
and that would happen a lot.
Yep. And so, Felipe 210 is in the building. What's good? Salute. And so what happens is when you don't have those skilled players on the floor with Obi, all it does is take away the good things that he can do. Now, with that said,
I can make that same case for RJ as well.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. They run the continuity offense, right? The defense jumps out high to ice RJ. RJ Barrett sees that ahead of time, recognizes it, right? This is film study stuff. This is when this happens, RJ, when this happens, this is the play. They jump out to ice the screen, right? They hadn't done that to us all year. No team has done that to us because they didn't, for some reason, they didn't fear our 3-point shooting, so they didn't ice. They were like, let them bring the ball around, blah, blah, blah. RJ Barrett sees it, throws a pocket pass to Derrick Rose, cut a baseline. Derrick Rose fumbled the ball and didn't dunk on nobody. He wound up getting fouled, right? And this is what we saw live. I saw that play live, right? So and Derrick Rose was like, oh my God. And D Rose knew as soon as he fumbled the ball, he went straight to RJ and was like, hey man, good pass. That was on me. I didn't expect you to see that. Derrick Rose was a G about that. He was like, I didn't expect you to see that. My bad. You know what I'm saying? I messed up your assist. So, and it was a dime too. It was a dime to Derrick Rose. Right? All the coaching dudes that I talked to, they were like, that was a dime by RJ. He recognized that. Right? But the only thing though is Derrick Rose didn't anticipate RJ Barrett seeing that.
Right. Yeah, and that happens with teams, especially where their offense evolves during the season, because teams are going to get a gist of what they like to do, and then they're going to throw different stuff at them, and they have to evolve their offense and stuff of that nature. But what was more concerning to me with this season was simple things that should have been read. So I'll give you an example. If you saw the game last night, right, you noticed that every single opportunity, okay, the Phoenix Suns would have Brook Lopez either guarding Chris Paul or Devin Booker.
Right.
And he took straight advantage of that. They must have had at least 40 to 50 points off that.
Right.
Okay. And I'm saying, so for example, and these were things that would bother me, right? Okay. We got to switch, right? and Trae Young is on RJ Barrett, I am going there every single time until Atlanta makes an adjustment, which would be to double team.
Right.
So now off their double team, I'm already a step ahead and saying, listen, they're going to have to double team this because RJ is going to eat him up in there.
Right.
You didn't see stuff like that happen.
Right.
You see RJ just sitting in a corner.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the thing is, if you're Atlanta, Sean Hughes was good. So if you're ain't nothing to it. Hey, but you know what? The thing is, Atlanta was like, we will live with RJ Barrett scoring 40 points if Julius Randle is not touching the ball, right? But the Knicks could not live with that. You know what I'm saying? They're like,
they didn't even explore it.
Right. They did one time, and RJ Barrett got a layup so easy it was criminal. And
it happened. From my memory freeze, it happened twice in transition because, like players switch in transition. So that would happen to be the matchup. And they went to it. And one time he got an and one, and the other time he went to the foul line. And that was it.
Right. Right. And the and one that you're talking about, the layup was so easy that you got to keep going back to this. But do you feed RJ? See, that's the thing with Giannis and Chris Middleton, right? When Chris Middleton is cooking, Giannis is like, I'm okay being complimentary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When Devin Booker is cooking, Chris Paul is like, I'm okay with being complimentary. You know what I'm saying? Right? Even when Scottie Pippen was cooking, Mike was like, hey, Scottie cooking tonight. I'm okay with being complimentary. But when RJ Barrett is cooking, every vet on the team is like, hell no.
Hell yeah. They'll literally overload his side. I saw it mad times throughout the season.
You remember the Celtics game when it looked like he was going to go off for 40? Remember the Celtics game? He was 6 for 6 from 3? Remember that when RJ Barrett was NBA Jam hot, right?
Okay.
Right. RJ Barrett was 6 for 6 from 3 against the Celtics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you know Alec Burks came in the game and just started jacking? And Julius Randle, and then RJ Barrett did, and then RJ was like, yo, no, Alec Burks, this is my team. I'm taking on, I'm getting these. The next two shot, he hit a 3 and then went to the basket, scored 5 straight points, right? To get the Knicks back to boost the lead back up. And then Julius Randle took over and finished like 3 for 11 shooting after that.
Yeah.
And so you're like, Randle, why won't you let RJ cook? What is this?
Mm-hmm.
It was pointed out to me like no lie. When RJ starts cooking, my phone will start buzzing, right? Because the Blorange family will be like, Uncle Freezy, you watching this? Look at RJ, look at RJ, look at RJ. You know what I'm saying? And no, I'm talking about all season long, right? When RJ Barrett starts cooking, or when Emmanuel Quickly starts cooking, people will start hitting me up like, yo, you watching this? And I'm like, of course I'm watching it. And then you'll see Randle hijack the offense.
Oh, yeah.
Or Alec Burks hijack the offense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or Reggie Bullock.
So let me ask you a question. Why does that happen, Freezy?
Because he's a young player.
Who's a young player?
RJ.
Do you think that's why they did that?
Yep. Because he don't have cachet. He don't carry no weight in the league yet.
And I think that's nonsense and foolishness.
You talking about my point or what they did?
No. If that's the mentality, right? That's nonsense and foolishness. Not what you're saying. If that's the mentality behind it, that's nonsense and foolishness.
You would think your second best player would have more say so than that, right?
You would think.
But you know, you could see it. You can see it. You know, like for instance, at the beginning of the season, RJ Barrett was terrible from 3, right?
Yes,
and so Tibbs was like, no, keep shooting. You got to shoot your way through this. This is not a technical issue. Your shot is just not going. Trust me, your numbers will level out. Basically, keep shooting, it'll start going in. Basically, is what's it. And you can see the look on his teammate's face, like, why he get the green light? Why I don't get the green light? Well, because in all honesty, RJ Barrett is. In all honesty, I'm gonna say this to the Blorange family, and y'all may think I'm wrong, but in all honesty, RJ Barrett is the franchise. RJ Barrett is the franchise.
That's a potentiality.
Right.
That's not a definitive.
Right, but in 3 years, who else is gonna be the franchise?
I don't have a crystal ball. I couldn't tell you.
Right, but right now, if you project to 3 years from now, you would say it's RJ Barrett.
That's why I said that would be the most possible. Right.
So, so what I'm saying is if you're Alec Burks and you know you can score in this league, and you think you're a better scorer right now than RJ Barrett, why would you let RJ Barrett cook when you're on a 1-year deal and your statistics are what's going to get you paid?
No, I get it, and I understand that perfectly.
Yeah,
look, if you remember when we would have like the Knicks at night stuff, the one thing I would always bring up in games is RJ being phased out. RJ would have like a 12 or 13 point quarter. Like you wouldn't even see him.
Right.
And he would be in no action. He would just be stuck in the corner somewhere. Here's another thing too. I remember earlier in the season, Tibbs started opening up games using RJ in the high pick and roll. And RJ was very successful in this. He was seeing the floor well. He's making decent decisions. Yeah, he would jack up some shots sometimes because that's part of learning. But overall, I gave him like a B-. I was like, okay, this is looking good. This needs to continue. That went on for maybe about 10 or 12 games, and then that was done.
Yep.
And it mind boggled me.
Right. No doubt. Rob the Knicks is in the building. What's good? What you doing up in the daytime, boss?
Yeah. I just can't do nothing at night. Might as well wake up in the day.
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened to Hoodie Cav, man. I haven't been able to get in contact with Hoodie Cav, man.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, so we just gonna march. We just gonna march along, bro. I mean, yeah, I'm calling, texting, but when he ready, he'll be back.
Yeah,
man. So what's your thoughts on the direction of this team this summer? Do you think Mitch can develop into an offensive player?
Man, I really don't think Mitch need to. Mitch don't need to develop. Mitch need to do 100% of what he's been doing because he's the best at doing it pretty much in the league. So therefore, you concentrate on that craft and then you put 4 players around him that can score. I don't think that you really need. Capella showed the whole league that you don't have to really have a shot to really be an impact on the floor. And in the teams that's left right now, there's no stretch centers out there like right now. Look at what's going on with the last 2 teams. Brook Lopez, yeah, he can shoot the 3, but he learned that 10 years in.
Right.
That's true. Right. Yeah, so, that's true. It did come later.
Yeah, it's nothing that that you really. And then you look at Ayton, he ain't down there firing 3s. In the last 4 teams was left now. That stretch center and that style of play, it looks good. But like I said earlier in the playoffs, I'll agree to it and look at it when it produces a chip. We know that it's not going to produce a chip this year because none of those teams are left.
Right.
So continue to march on with what works. That stretch center has not won a championship yet. So I'm not going to feed into it. I don't care what it looks like now, how good that player is. Show me that type of play can win a championship. And they haven't showed me that yet. So right now, I just leave it on the sideline.
Right.
Rob, I remember you was going back. I forgot who you was going back and forth with when you were trying to tell him the same thing.
It was Eddie.
It was Eddie, right? I remember.
Yeah, it was Eddie.
I remember. But like everybody keeps saying about Mitch developing an offensive game. If he ends up taking just about 2, maybe 3 shots a game, like actual jump shots a game, we should be satisfied with that. Like we should be more than satisfied with that.
Mm-hmm. And like Ghetto Intellect said yesterday when we was on the man, he said something that made real sense. Suppose next year Mitch develops and he puts, just say, okay, he's scoring 10 now, he goes up to 15. in this contract, how much would that cost New York if he does it under this contract and he's getting ready to negotiate? How much money would that cost New York
Nothing
if
less
he
than
was
12.
to do that next year?
Nothing
It has to be
12.
more than 12 if he's averaging 15.
Look,
Nothing
hey,
under 12.
hey, look. If you really look at it right now, I think it's going to be over that. I think it's going to be over 12 anyway.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
any other team is going to pay him more than 12. So
Yeah.
if you want to keep Mitch in the rest of the league, want him, you would be a fool not to. I would, like I was saying yesterday, I would give him something like a Randle's contract. I give him like 16 for 3 years, but the third year is a team option.
And that's what
That could work.
most good teams do. We're scared to give Mitch a contract. You know what? Good teams sign their players long term. Like even if you don't see a fit for him, but if he's a talent, you lock him down long term because he becomes an asset at this point. Even if you don't have a need for him, you can still trade him because he's an asset. That's why teams, even though they have a gluttony of players, they still sign them, and then they'll trade them later because you have long-term control, and other teams like that.
Yeah. But I think the Knicks are going to sign Mitch.
Yeah, I think they're going to sign him.
But here's a worry with Mitch moving forward. And when I think of Mitch, I think of Rudy Gobert. And I think that Rudy Gobert has literally played himself out of 3 straight playoff series in the past 3 years. And the reason why he does is because teams go small ball because they know he doesn't have an offensive game. So therefore, they're having him defend constantly perimeter players in the corner, and he can't do it. And 3 years have shown that. I feel like when we get into the playoffs and we have a team equipped that's willing to do something like that, that is a huge deficiency.
It's not with us.
But Mitch,
and let me tell you why.
Mitch has shown
Why?
I got you. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, look, let me tell you why. Mitch is the only center in the league that can almost guard all 5 positions. Mitch
I
is
was
the
just
only
about to say
center.
that.
Yeah, but didn't Mitch struggle last year in defending this the switch? Yes, he did.
No.
Look, check this out. Mitch is the only center that can block guards 3-point shots. No other center can do that. And
I'm not saying he can't do that.
I know. So a smaller. If you go small ball against Mitch, I don't think it's going to be really that effective where it changes the flow of what we're doing, because Mitch can move like that.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me? So wait. So Mitch could defend Kawhi Leonard out there?
Yes.
It's not about defending him.
What?
It's not about.
No. Look.
Hold on.
This is crazy.
First of all, a small forward can't guard Kawhi Leonard, right? A shooting guard, power forward can't guard Kawhi Leonard.
Correct.
What we're saying is that Mitch has the athletic ability to at least be respectable against Kawhi Leonard. We're not saying that Mitchell Robinson can pick up Kawhi Leonard and shut him down. Nobody's saying that because your small forward can't do it.
That's right. True.
You know what I'm saying? So what we're
I
saying
understand.
what I'm saying is a difference between Jokic guarding Kawhi Leonard and Mitchell Robinson guarding Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying? It's obvious that Mitch has the athletic ability to at least be respectable.
And I agree with you. He does have the athletic potential. But if we saw the games this year, Mitch had struggled off that switch and guarding guys 20 feet away from the basket. Do we see the same games?
I didn't see that.
Wow.
I didn't see that on a regular basis. Now, look, sometimes, you can get caught like that. But most of the time, Mitch guarded it.
And remember,
Okay.
they were saying that Mitch came into the season out of shape.
Okay.
Remember, in the beginning, Woody said he didn't think he was going to make it. Like, he was like, this guy might not be it, just because of what he saw during the summer. So I think I did see a few comments or statements about him getting blown up, like you said, in the perimeter. But I think he kind of cleaned that up towards the middle of the season.
See, Mitch tried to pick.
Right. I'll just chalk that up to him not being in shape and not being game ready at the time. Because you notice, even last year, Mitch wasn't in shape. His hands on his knees all the time. He's huffing and puffing. You could tell he's out of shape, and that's one of the main things he needs to focus on for next year.
When you making less than $1 million in the NBA, around about $1 million, your nutrition and everything is not up to speed like everybody else. Just your professional. Right. So Mitch was pretty much balling on the budget.
Right.
He couldn't do everything that everybody else was doing.
He can't hire a private chef.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He can't hire elite trainers. Right. He can't do all that stuff because he brings home. Think about this. He brings home $1 million a year in New York City. At that, it's not even $1 million. It's not even $1 million in Orlando, Florida. It's $1 million in New York City. So by the time,
400.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So we criticize Mitch for that stuff, but you gotta look at what my man working with. You know what I'm saying? But once he get his bag, like what OG is saying, once he get the bag and is able to pay a personal chef, pay personal trainers, pay people to drive him around, little stuff, bro, little stuff that
you don't gotta worry about.
Take for granted. Mitch can't do that. Mitch probably got to park his own car. I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, Freezy, that's why he's going through so many agents, because he felt like he got a bad deal coming in. So that's why he's been going through so many agents trying to find the right one.
Hey, you know what? And Mitch is still paying them agents. When you fire an agent, it's like Fizdale. The Knicks are still paying Fizdale. Because Mitch had a contract with these agents. When you sign a contract and when you terminate the contract, whatever the terms are, hey man, you got to honor those terms. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and if you might get a third party arbitrator to try to get you wiggle you out of some of that stuff. But say if Rob the Knick hire me, if Rob the Knick say free, I'm gonna pay you 3 years, $100, and then he come to me and be like, yo, I'm firing you. I'm like, yo, you still paying me that $100. You know what I'm saying? Because we got a contract. and he's like, well, yeah, I just don't want you to be around. I got another guy to do the work. Hey, where my $100 at? You know what I'm saying?
I really don't think Mitch is paying whoever was his agent just for a simple fact, because if he proved the broken clause in the contract or why, we don't know under the situations that he fired these guys. It's just like you fire a lawyer. Like I was saying yesterday, like I was telling them yesterday, I got into some trouble when I was younger. I fired 3 lawyers.
Right.
And you know, along the way, I fired 3 lawyers. You might have got a down payment, but when I fired you, I didn't pay you no more.
That was it. That was it.
Yeah, you might have got a down payment. You might say, okay, yeah, you give me 10%. I'm going to represent you. I don't like what you're doing. And at the end of the day, I found the lawyer that I was comfortable with, and I didn't do no time.
Right.
And a couple other people did.
Good.
So at the end of the day, you know, that's probably what he's going through. And then he's looking at the money that he really doesn't have, and they might have promised him this and promised him that. Or some guy could have even promised him, well, look, we'll have you a contract already.
Right.
And then
Rich Paul.
You reneged on the contract. I fired you.
Right.
You know, so it's
right. My belief is that's why he fired Rich Paul. Because Rich Paul, in my opinion, Rich Paul promised him that he can get him out of that contract and get a contract extension. And the Knicks stalled him out and he fired Rich Paul. That's my opinion of what happened. You know what I'm saying? So that may be true, it may not, but that's what it looks like.
I know. I remember reading the first one because he wasn't happy with the way everything worked out, like where he was drafted and how the whole drafting worked out. He didn't like that. I know that's why he wanted the first one. Everybody else, I'm not too sure.
Right. No doubt. So, what I also want to say about Mitchell Robinson is this: if Mitch doesn't start thinking offensively that everything can't be a dunk, then he won't evolve into a DeAndre Ayton type player, right? And what I'm saying about that is the dribble handoff at the top of the key. Mitchell Robinson never looks at the rim, right? So his man is like, I'm just going to sag back here and bump cutters. And so for those that don't know what bump cutters is, it's everybody that come through the paint, I'm putting an elbow on them. When RJ and Bullock and Burks and Knox and Obi come through the paint, since Mitch ain't a threat to shoot, I'm coming through laying elbows on them. Everybody. And not flagrant. I'm just saying, hey, when you come through here, I'm letting you know that it's gonna be rough down here. Right? But if Mitch would get the ball and at least pump fake before he do his Wilt Chamberlain wave the ball way out wide thing, then I wouldn't have to bump. I couldn't bump cutters because I have to honor at least the pump fake. At least look at it.
But Mitch doesn't even have an overhand or a left or right hook shot either. He doesn't have an offensive game except putting the ball back in the basket or straight up dunks. That's it.
Right.
But that's fine. But this is my thing, right? That's fine. It might not come now. Like what we gotta look at is the timeline, right? What timeline are we in, and how soon do we need him to develop that, and do we need him to develop? All right, my example: does Norvell Pell, the center, does he have not? What's his name? Pell? Does he have?
Yeah,
that?
you got it.
Does
Right.
he have that?
No.
Right.
No. No.
So we're saying we need to keep Norvell Powell like how he does defensively, but we're talking about trading Mitch because he doesn't have an offensive game.
No, that's not what we. No, we don't want.
No, I'm saying, yeah. So if he might not get the money that these other top-notch centers are getting, but he's gonna find himself in the pecking order. You know what I'm saying? He might end up sliding down the rotation, and that's it. Like we gotta get out of the habit of, if a guy doesn't pop and become a superstar or a top defensive player, we gotta get rid of him, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we can't say, oh, if he doesn't develop this, then what do we
Would
do?
you say that? Would you say that for Knox?
I would say the same thing for Knox also.
Okay.
Because if you're looking at the playoffs, right? What's that kid's name? Cam Johnson. He's not being asked to do a lot. He's not handling the ball and asked to drop 20. He's playing his role. And if Knox develops a role where he gets 10 minutes a game, that's fine. I mean, yeah, we drafted him too high because we're saying that just because we drafted him so high, we're expecting him to be the superstar and that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't become a superstar and he becomes a decent role player, we should be happy with that. And I think that's where that's where my issue comes in with a lot of people saying get rid of him and do this and do that. If he can come in and give you 8 points, 10 points, that you should be happy with.
Well, Cam Johnson gets a lot of his minutes because of the defense he plays.
Right. And
that's why they're pushing Knox.
And so the thing with Cam Johnson too is that you can't leave him uncovered for a second at the 3-point line.
Right.
Oh
right.
yeah.
Right. You can't, man. If you mess around and turn your head to look at Chris Paul gonna find them, and it's a wide open 3 that you don't want. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that his shot goes in every time. It's the threat of his shot going in every time.
Yeah. You got to close him out every time.
Yeah.
And that's the role I think Kevin Knox needs to call for himself. He's not going to be a guy that comes in that KD 2.0 that everybody thought he was going to be. He's not going to be that.
Now, I said we was talking about Knox.
Find a role
We was talking about Knox yesterday, and we pretty much came up to this. We was comparing Michael Porter Jr. and Kevin Knox on this aspect. We were saying that Michael Porter Jr. came to New York, and he had to play under Tibbs. Would he be playing right now?
No, he would have hurt his back a long time ago.
No, he wouldn't be playing because that coach wants defense first, so you would have never seen the offensive side of the ball. with him. No matter how good he can play offense, we would have never seen that in New York. So it all depends on what type of team you go to and what type of coach that you have.
Exactly.
Because I really feel as though if Knox went to Minnesota or something like that, now we'll be looking at a different Knox. Because they didn't concentrate so much on defense. Knox was put in a situation where as though you're going to have to practice on what you don't know and what you never knew in order for you can do what you do know.
Right.
And then with that, and if you're playing with a coach like that, it takes confidence away from your game because now you know if you shoot and you're not playing defenses that you're going to get the hook.
Right.
So to look at Knox on the New York Knicks right now is not to say that he doesn't have because we all know he has a skill set. But the question is, will we ever see it in New York under defensive first coaches? I don't think so.
I think so.
I seen Michael Porter Jr. blow coverage after coverage after coverage.
And not care.
The coach left him in.
Yep, and not care. Yep.
Yeah, the coach didn't care. So then once you build that confidence on what you can do, and then you can make a player do what he doesn't do well.
Right.
And then if it's the opposite way, it's going to be a mental struggle. A lot of players can get through it, but it's a mental struggle, especially for a young player that's been scoring his whole life.
Right. And it takes some time.
It takes some time.
And Rob.
What I was going to say real quick is I disagree with a lot of the stuff that Rob said, but not in an egregious way, right? And so this is why I disagree. I think what Tibbs did is the opposite thing. I think Tibbs took Kevin Knox and put a red shirt on him, right? Because he played him first. He played him first and was like, no. This ain't NBA basketball right here. Because remember, Kevin Knox was playing 20 minutes a game at the beginning of the season. Right? Remember that? Knox was playing 20 minutes a game at the beginning of the season. And he was effective from that corner three. But his defense was atrocious. And some of his hustle plays were atrocious, right? So Tibbs was like, no, we love you, but you're not ready. So I'm going to decrease your minutes, but I'm not throwing you away. I'm going to redshirt you, right? And I'm going to tear down all your bad habits in practice and build you up. So the next time that the Knicks fans see you, you are going to be a new and improved player, including your body, right? Because at Knox is somewhere between 6'7" and 6'10", right? So
I say between 6'9" and 6'10".
Yeah. And so he was so Tibbs is like, for a dude 6'9", 6'10", for you not to be a screener is ridiculous. Right? Because you can't be a non-screener and a non-ball handler. You have to be one or the other, preferably both. But you have to be one. You have to have at least good handles or at least be a good screener. Because if you can't get yourself open, you got to be able to get others open. Right? You can't just be out there. It just can't look like a washing machine out there. You can't just be spin cycle. Right? You got to be either to create for yourself, create for others, or help others create for themselves and create for others. And Knox was doing none of it. At 6'9", you want a big body man to be able to set screens, especially either you in the pick and roll, either you're going to be the pick and roll handler or the pick setter, right? You can't just say that I'm not good at either, but I want to be involved in the play. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So small stuff. And Tibbs also, this is what I saw by personal experience. The weak side defender, and I played the weak side defender before, can't have his shoulders parallel to the baseline, right? Because if the ball's out here and your man is over here, you can't be flat, is basically what they call it, right? Because if the man drives the lane, that means you have to turn your body to go to that man, right? And if you turn your body to that man and he kicks out to the corner, that means you have to turn your body all the way back around to go back to the corner. It's called poor footwork and vision, right? What you want to be is at an angle where one hip and one shoulder is facing one man, and one hip and one shoulder is facing the other man. That way, wherever the ball goes, you can go there naturally using your athletic ability. But when you start getting spent around on defense and not being able to recover, then Tibbs got to take you out of the game. Because Knox has all the, at 6'9", with the long with long arms, Kevin Knox should be able to contest shots better, right? And he does, because not 2021 season, but 2020 season, Kevin Knox led the Knicks in blocks per minute, right? For all the minutes that he played, he led the team in blocks per minute. Now, overall, Mitch led the team in blocks overall, but blocks per minute, Kevin Knox led the team, right? That means if coached correctly, he can get to the spot and deflect shots, right? But Tibbs has got to teach him that, and Kevin Knox has to learn that and be in that position all the time. And when he's not, Tibbs is going to take him off the floor.
I would love to see Knox here and keep working. Like I said, he's in his early 20s. Some guys don't really get it till they're 23, 24, 25. You know what I'm saying? So, and like we've seen flashes of it even this year, where his shot is hitting. And I've seen videos that he's posted of him working out. His shot looks a lot better. His handle looks. You know what I'm saying? So.
Look, I
He's
totally
breaking up
agree.
a lot.
Yeah. Hey, Sean, you breaking up that. Okay, Rob, my bad.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Freezy. But I'm just looking at it like as now. Now, look, that's one aspect of it that I always talked about as far as like what Tibbs was doing, though. But I'm just talking about now in Knox's head.
Right.
And that was really like, is he able to understand what the coach is doing, or it's just going above him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it still comes down to the player. But like I said, I think that he's a 3-level scorer, and I think that he's gonna be better. Right. And in this situation, we can't let this 41 game season that we had fool us from where we actually at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Where we're actually at. Because like I was saying, if Atlanta was healthy all season, would we have beat them 3-0?
No.
We ran into Charlotte. They wasn't healthy. Ball didn't play a game or two, even though they beat us the majority of the season of the series. I think was 2-1. And then you can also look at it in that same mind frame. You can look at Washington, because a couple of times we played them, they wasn't completely healthy.
Right.
So you take those games right there and you add them on a win-loss, and then that puts us back in the perspective about what we were going to be anyway. Now, we caught a couple of good breaks and we took advantage of them like a good team is supposed to do. But we still can't get out the way of what we really are looking in the season, reflecting on the season, and just say, okay, yeah, we right here. Are we ready for this player? When you get another player, another all-star caliber player, that got to not put you in playoff contention. That got to put you in championship contention. And a lot of fans are good with just being contenders. I want a championship team. I don't want a team that can contend for a championship. You want that team, like when they look at them and you look at Vegas, the odds for this team to win is 250. That's a championship team. Not somebody 1,600, 1 in 1,600 chances. The number one odds for a team to win is like what, 250? That's where you want your team to be. You in the runnings to try to win it every year? No, let's get a championship team. And to get a championship team is doing exactly what we're doing. Finding us a core. And that's our core. And then at the end of the day, if your core needs a leader, then you add one accordingly. But first you build your core.
Right.
And I think that's way more important than getting Lillard, Kawhi, or anything. RJ, Mitch, and Randle right now is our core. Yep. And we shouldn't want to move that for nothing. Because every year you can sign a 1-year player, but you still have your core. Your core is getting better. And if it doesn't work around your core, you move it.
You
We
make
see.
adjustments.
We were talking about this yesterday, and we were talking about that. Is Julius Randle a number one option for next season in the future? And my answer was no, I don't think so. So let's just say, for example, I'm right, right? Now all of a
Let
sudden
me
we're
ask
gonna
you a
be.
question
Oh,
right
yo, I
quick
didn't get to
before.
finish. G, I didn't even get to finish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I was going to ask you a question about that number one option
okay,
part.
go ahead, bro.
Hey, look, do you know an all-star that made the all-star team right now last year, whose all-star is not a number one option?
Yeah, are you asking me that? Was there an all star that wasn't a number one option on the team?
Yeah,
Is that what you're asking me?
yeah. Besides, like, okay, Julius Randle is not one. Anybody that made an all-star roster the all-star roster last year, was there a number one option? Was everybody a number one option except for Julius?
Off the top of my head, I would say there was probably some number two options as all stars like Middleton, stuff of that nature.
But I think he also
Okay.
made it with his number one option. That's his number one option made it with him.
All NBA first team, a second team All NBA player is not a number one option. Let that sink in.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not. That's not my point, though.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So what I was saying was that because you talk about championship aspirations, and you talk about building a championship team, and the way you do that is that number one option has to be solidified in order to do that, because then you build the team around that one option. So this is my question now. This is one of my worries moving forward. What are we doing with Julius Randle? Because Julius Randle would have to evolve his game this year, right? Like every player has to improve each and every year in order for him to say, hey, look, Julius Randle, that's our go-to guy. You know, that's our guy that in the last 2-3 minutes of games, he's consistent. We could go to him, he'll create matchup issues, he'll put the ball in the basket, he'll create double teams, make the right choices, he'll do all those things. And I'm saying that he's not there right now. So now moving forward, let's say if he never gets there. Julius' contract ends next year, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So now the Knicks have to make a decision. Because now if he go ahead.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
No. Go ahead. I want you to finish. I'll cut you.
Okay. So that with Julius, are they gonna sign him? And if they do, and they want to bring in somebody, will he be comfortable playing the two? Because right now in Julius's mind, he's the number one. And the team is being built around him. So I'm saying that would the Knicks be put in a position where they would have to trade him by midseason? And if they do sign him, would they be comfortable if they get somebody that does take over that spot and he's a Robin or he's a number 3, depending if RJ evolves or we get somebody in a trade or we get somebody banging in the draft? Like, I think those are very concerning questions moving forward in the direction in which the organization is going to go for those championship aspirations you were talking about.
Okay. Well, the answer to that question is real simple. Look what Toronto did when they had to move their all-star. You moved the all-star for the number one option if you had a number one option. And then if you don't think he's a number one option, but when you say forever, if he don't turn out to be, you're only talking about 1 year. So if Julius doesn't turn out to be the number one option in 1 year, that means as though he's never going to be a number one option?
Nah, I can't say that.
That's right.
No, I'm not saying that either.
Yeah, but when you said that, okay, next year we got to make a decision. So the decision is what? We still going to move forward as Julius being the number one option.
Yeah, that's the decision to make. Either are we building this team around him, or we putting him pieces and we're sliding him in a 2 or 3. When are we doing that? And is Julius going to be comfortable with that?
Well, we showed it's not up to what Julius is comfortable with. It's up to what
Absolutely.
the front office is comfortable with. They're the ones who's making the moves. So if we feel as though Julius Randle, if the front office feels as Julius Randle is not the one, then they'll move him. I don't think it comes to.
What if he already signs the contract and then he does that?
Well, the contract you can still move the contract.
Even then, the contract he's signing is. The contract he's signing is not even over 30.
It's not max. Yeah, it's not max like that.
It's his max to his stats, to the stats that he put up. So
Right.
with complaining about paying Julius, it's not like there's players out there getting 40, 45 million. He's not getting the top contract. Even if he ends up being our second or third scorer on the team, 27 million is still a good price. How much is Middleton making? And he's not even the first option.
Yeah, it's about the same, 27 million.
27. But we don't hear anybody say anything about him.
I mean, I'm gonna see for
Well, because he's not a number one option.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So even if Randle, if he's making $27 million and he's not our number one option, he's not our number one option. That's just what it is. And if we do bring in a number one option, then it's obvious. There's no debating that he's not gonna. He can like Rob said, it's not up to him. If it's a clear-cut number one option, that's what can he do? You understand?
Okay.
I don't think
I get it.
Unless he becomes unhappy, that's the only thing he can do. He can say he's not happy, but like I said, everything will fall. The chips will fall where they will.
And so I'm confused to where the conversation is going, right? Because I hear valid points, but I just want to clarify direction. Are we saying, does the front office have the cojones to make a tough decision about Julius Randle? Or are we saying, does Tibbs feel like Julius Randle is not the guy and will promote whoever comes in to be the guy? Because we mentioned 1 and 2, like Julius Randle was not a number one. Is that from the fans' perspective, the front office perspective, or the coach's perspective that y'all talking?
So from my understanding,
go ahead.
From my understanding, I'm going with number 2, and also I'm assuming he's saying that if Julius is not the number one option, what do we do? Do we keep him and just rock with him even though he's not, or do we have the guard to trade him?
But I'm saying, but who's asking the question?
I brought up the point.
Not you. I'm saying no. I'm saying so. D, you brought the point. From whose perspective? Is it the front office?
I'm thinking front office right now.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to say it, and he keeps going in. So it's the front office, right? And I'm thinking of, because you're saying, front office has total power, executive decision in the matter. In today's NBA, that's not true. So, players do have a say as far as in the direction of where they want to go. Now, and this is what I'm saying, because if you're being hyped up as a number one, right, as Julius Randle is, they spend 2 years right now building a team around him. And I'm saying that, and let's say, for example, they have the same season like they had last year, all right, or maybe a little bit more subpar or something like that, right? At the end of the season, if they decide to go a different route, do they pull that trigger, right? And also, they'll be in trouble, because then if they do go that route and Julius is not happy with that, right, he could go for nothing.
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like, the front office, I think personally, has a couple of concerns with that.
What you mean by that?
Yeah, because his contract's over after next year.
Oh, so you're talking about, okay.
Yeah, right. I'm talking about, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because his contract's over next year. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they have a decision to make. Like, do they trade him during the before the trade deadline next season? Do they re-sign him? Because now it's the understanding now. Okay, listen, we've had the same season we had last year. And it also goes in, how do other guys evolve? Like, does RJ evolve? Does Emmanuel quickly evolve? Does Obi take it a step extra? Like, that's what I'm saying. The front office has a lot of questions more, I think, next year than this year, as far as the direction of where they're going to go.
Yeah, that's a valid point, though, but I don't see where that has anything to do. Now, look, if they decide, now, look, this is what, look, it's 3 players in the last 5 years that's connected at the hip.
Mm-hmm.
That's Porzingis, that's Randle, and Obi.
Right.
Because on any decision, they're going to always be, either it's going to be Porzingis left, Randle came.
Mm-hmm.
Randle came, Obi took over, or Randle stays and they move Obi. So with that being said, you got to also look at, you're not worrying about Because in the last 2 years, they didn't build this team around Randle. Randle got picked up like everybody else.
Correct.
That's why the problem is between Randle and not a problem, but these are fans look at Randle and they look at Barrett is drafted number 3. Randle came. So now it's up into the odds of that. Whose team is it? Who's the closer? Between those two, just because one was drafted and one came in. Randle showed himself to be a worthy basketball player this year with the improvements of everything. So now certain fans are looking at Randle. It's like, why can't Randle be the closer? He showed his self-improvement to second team all NBA. And people are still not calling him the number 1 option, which I think is crazy.
Right.
I don't think he is.
Well, okay. Well, I don't never see a second team all NBA player not the number 1 option.
Right.
I mean, he is the number 1 option. That's what I understand that he is because by default. But I'm saying that he's not like a true number 1 guy. Like he doesn't have the clutch ability of like a Devin Booker, for example.
No, we don't. Look, we watched him for 1 year.
And I understand that. And I'm basing it off 1 year.
You can't be basing it off the first year you got here.
Of course I can.
With the dysfunctional of the coaching staff, you would put that on him?
No, I'm saying this season that passed.
Fizdale and Mike Miller.
No, I'm saying
they didn't win enough games They didn't even win it. They wasn't even in enough close games to see if he could close.
Exactly.
I'm saying this season. I'm not talking about Mike Miller. I'm not talking about David Fizdale. This season.
So you're talking about the take the ball, the last shot, and make the shot.
No, I'm talking about the last 2 or 3 minutes making an impact consistently.
He has.
No, he was inconsistent. No. Come on, man. Here we go again. What games are we watching?
Oh, well, obviously we're not watching the same game.
No, we're not.
I'm saying down the stretch of the game, you got to also look at the talent that's around you. Devin Booker, in his first 3 seasons, he only won like 10, 11 games.
Right.
But he still had clutch ability.
But no, clutch ability and winning 10 games is not clutch ability.
I'm talking about him putting his team in a position for the win. Now that could
he never did.
There's a million reasons to that. There's a million reasons for that, Rob.
Hey,
okay.
So you can make a million reasons for Randle. If you're gonna make a million for him.
I'm saying that Randle had a better team this year around him than Booker had during those 15, 18 game seasons.
No, sir. No, sir.
What?
This was not a good team. This was a good coach. This was a good coach team. This was not a good team. This was a good coach team, and it showed in the playoffs that this wasn't a good team. We played against a good team, and you see what happened. We was a good coach team.
So what you're saying is that you're rivaling the roster we had to Devin Booker's first 4 rosters of the Phoenix Suns. That's what you're saying.
Look, when he ran that team into the bubble, look, Devin Booker wouldn't be Devin Booker if Chris Paul didn't come on board. Let's not get it twisted.
What?
Hey,
what?
So let me do this just for clarity.
Nah, man.
So just for clarity, the seasons that y'all referring to, the Suns won 24 games, 21 games, 19 games,
right,
34 games,
right,
and that's the bubble year. And this year they won 51 games.
Correct.
So just for clarity.
Yeah, but Rob just finished saying to the nation that Devin Booker was not the Devin Booker he is right now before Chris Paul got there. That's completely ridiculous.
It didn't equal wins.
We're not talking about wins. We're talking about the player. We're talking about what he does on the court.
The conversation was Julius Randle. It was not a closer in one person's eyes, and in another person's eyes, it was because he didn't get the opportunity. And then we compared it to Devin Booker, who one person said was a closer or had closer potential, but then when you look at the records say that Devin Booker didn't have the opportunity to close many games because they lost a ton of games. You know what I'm saying? So while both could be correct, I think that would be kind of incomplete because you can't say Devin Booker was a closer when his teams didn't win many games before they got hot in the bubble the season before last, and then this season how they're in the NBA Finals right now. And if I remember correctly, last night they won an NBA Finals game, and Devin Booker did not shoot the ball well at all. Right?
What, last night?
Yeah. So is it a fact? Is that a
But he went to the foul line. What is he like? 10 of 11 for the free throw line?
Chris Paul shot the ball well.
Well, no. What I'm saying is this. In that game, in the game that they won it by 15. Devin Booker didn't shoot the ball well, but in the closing situation, in a tight game, would Devin Booker have performed better? Is what I'm asking. What I'm asking D.
And I believe he would have.
Okay, all right. That's what we get into. Like we
That's
want
my
to
point.
We want to take away all the margins. We don't want the margin stuff. We want to talk about the stuff because there was a definitive point that was made, and we want to make sure we take away, trim the fat off the argument, and get down to the nitty gritty. If that game was close, could Devin Booker score on Jrue Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I'm just saying that I just don't understand what he's trying to do, Rob, because and you got to let me finish in order to know what the hell I'm going to say. So what I'll say is that it's because you blame the fact that Devin Booker didn't really show this clutch ability through wins because of the roster that was around him. Then you admitted that you do see Julius Randle as a number one, but then said in the same breath that the roster was insufficient and that it was based on really good coaching than the roster, and that's why you see Julius as R1. I'm just saying the argument doesn't hold weight.
I didn't say that. What
Yes,
I said
you did.
was this. No, this is what I said. I said that we was a good coach team. That doesn't take nothing for the advancement of what Julius did in the summer to make us a good team. Good Julius Randle was an exceptional player for us this year. If he played anything like he did last year. Now, let's go back to this Devin Booker thing. I'm saying this about Devin Booker. In his first 4 years before he won the 34 games, okay, you're the number one option on a bad team. So coming down the stretch, you got more practice of taking any type of shot that you make that you want to take because you're the only one. But that's not saying that you're a clutch player because you're not in clutch games to become a clutch player.
There was a lot of times within.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
When it was time for them to get close, even though you played on that team 4 years, when it was time for you to close out the Clippers, who closed them out? Chris Paul closed them out, not Devin Booker. Devin Booker had a bad series against them. He scored 41.
Who closed out the Lakers?
He scored 41 against in the first game. Then he got his nose hit. Whatever happened after that?
Who closed out the Lakers?
After that, he wasn't the same. When it came down to closing out that series to get to the finals, Chris Paul closed them out. When it came down to setting the tone last night, Chris Paul did that.
Devin Booker actually set the tone last night.
You said what?
I said Devin Booker actually set the tone last night.
No, Chris Paul set the tone.
Oh my God, yo!
He had 31.
I'm so done.
31, 9 assists, and 3 steals.
And most of that was in the second half.
And he was 13 for 16 for the game.
And most of that was in the second half.
Man,
Devin Booker set the tone.
Hey, look at
anybody that watched the game would tell you that.
No, the game got taken away in the third quarter. It was a 4-point game at the half. Chris Paul took over the third quarter and
you said set the tone. I'm going by what you said.
Man,
you said set the tone.
I'm saying just like this here. He set the tone as far as the win was concerned.
That's not how it works.
Your guy, look, he shot bad. He took a lot of shots. How can you set the tone and you're missing all the shots?
What? He went to the free throw line like 8 times in like the first half.
Look, Ayton had a better half than he did.
Oh my God, yo!
But it depends on what you. It depends on what you're looking at because I felt like DeAndre Ayton controlled the game, right? And y'all are saying Chris Paul and Devin Booker. I'm saying without DeAndre Ayton being an impact in the middle, Devin Booker doesn't get those one-on-one looks.
I'm saying offensively. Did you see the game yesterday?
Yes.
Listen, okay. You're going to tell me in the first quarter, right? Because that's setting the tone, right? That Devin Booker did not set that tone throughout that whole first quarter. That he did not have the ball in his hand. He did not go to the free throw line. He did not hit a couple of mid ranges and pull ups in the first quarter to second quarter of that game.
No. So what I'm saying is, we were talking about, and this is just me following, the what we were talking about. Right. But what we were talking about was is Devin Booker a closer? And so how it got switched to setting the tone is something.
Well,
different.
because Rob brought that up.
What I want to do was just follow along with to do justice to what you guys are talking about. I'm just want to stay on the thing. Devin Booker did not have a great shooting performance. Did he do a lot of great things? Yes. I'm not disputing. I won't dispute that, because I'll be crazy to dispute that. Devin Booker did a lot of great things last night. But what I'm saying is the impact of the total game was shared by the entire Phoenix Suns offense and defense. But what I'm saying is some guys shined at some points, but for the most part, it was a total team effort to beat the Bucks.
Absolutely.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying that Devin Booker is not a closer because he came out, trying to set the tone. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in this game here, if it wasn't for the impact of DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul's ability to find DeAndre Ayton, then without that, Devin Booker would not have gotten the looks that he got. And the reason why Ayton gets those looks, listen, hear me out. Because you just, listen, hear me out.
I heard you.
If it were not for Devin Booker being a threat on the wing, DeAndre Ayton would not have gotten those looks. What I'm saying is it was a balance between everybody. And whenever the defense adjusted, the offense adjusted. You know what I'm saying? Take what the defense gives you. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
I agree, but I think we were sticking to, look, this went off to somewhere in another dimension. The point was that, do we think that Julius Randle is the number one right now at this moment? That was the talk. Right. That was the discussion point.
Right.
Rob said yes. I said no. I don't think Julius has showed me enough for me to consider him like, yo, Julius is our one, bro. We're going to build a team around him. He's our future right now. If we have championship aspirations, that's our one. He has not shown me that. If he's shown Rob that, glory to Rob.
I say this here, as this Knick team is presently constructed right now, with everybody who's on this roster is here from last year, he is our number one option.
I know.
until the roster changes.
Yeah, by default, absolutely.
By default.
Right, yeah, by default.
But what D is saying is on a championship level team.
Yes,
he doesn't believe Julius Randle is the number one.
But look, I leave that. That's debatable because we don't know how much more he's going to improve in the future. So right now on this team, he is the number one option, hands down. You can say by default, or you can say nobody else on this roster was hurt. Default to me means as though, okay, maybe the best player was hurt, so now he's the number one option. But with nobody else
that's
on
not
this
what it means.
Team, with nobody else on this team right now, he was and is our number one option right now.
Right. And yeah, with no argument there.
There's nobody else on the team.
That's no argument. There's no argument there. We're saying moving forward and the championship aspiration, if that was happening right now, Julius Randle would not be my number one option.
Hey, look at here.
It's very simple.
If there was a championship admiration right now and the Knicks were headed to the championship with this roster, he would be the number one. And
that's where we disagree and that's where we diverge.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I want to point out something, and then I also want to get you guys' opinion on it. So yesterday I talked about how the Knicks were on a manhunt for a guy that they couldn't find. Right? The Knicks were on a manhunt for a guy that they couldn't find, and they don't know his identity or don't know his profile or anything. And that was the Knicks point guard of the future. Right.
Right.
They were on a manhunt for a dude that they couldn't find. So anyway,
Okay.
My thing is this: is finding the point guard of the future that important to the New York Knicks? And I asked this question because I heard Tip say at the NBA scouting combine that they were on the hunt for wings that could make, shoot the three, and play defense.
Correct.
Right. And it baffled me because I thought his first comment would be, "Yeah, we're gonna look for a young point guard to get us in and out of offensive sets," and he did. And so what I'm asking y'all is point guard of the future really that important to the New York Knicks?
I'll let Rob go first.
Yes. He's just not letting the rest of the league know that.
I'm kind of on that wavelength too.
And then look, because it'll tell the rest of the league what you're looking for. Right now, you don't let your left hand know what your right hand getting ready to do. But I think it is important. Ray Charles is not sitting in the stands. The fans see it. The front office see it. We're just not telling anybody exactly what we're going to do. Go ahead.
Yeah,
D.
so I agree with you, Rob, and I think it would be stupid of Tom to kind of put that out there so thirsty like that. But I think we also have to redefine like point guard. Like, do we mean like lead playmaker? Because as we've seen, lead playmakers come in all shapes and sizes these days.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I think you should reframe the question and say that, are we looking for our playmaker of the decade? And
no.
No. Why not? Why would you not reframe it?
No, I think you dodged the question.
Okay, go ahead. Ask it again.
And the reason why I think you dodged it in the most smooth and finesseful way, that was really slick how you dodged it just now. That was Muhammad Ali style.
I wasn't even trying shit, yo. Just tell me, bro. Just tell me. No, just ask the question again, and I'll answer your question. Go ahead.
All the Knicks giving up the hunt for point guard of the future?
Okay, no, they're not.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. I say yes, right?
Okay.
And here's the reason why I say yes. I think the Knicks are confident in this kid that they're bringing in from overseas. Is Uncle Freezy confident in the dude from overseas? Hell no.
Have you seen him play?
No.
You should see him play.
But listen, the reason why I'm not confident is because I have no Uncle Freezy, Luca Vildoza connection or experience.
Got it.
Right? That's why I'm saying I'm not saying he's a bad player. What I'm saying is there's not enough data for me. Right.
Well, I mean, there's no data because you haven't seen him play.
Right. That's what I mean. So when you ask me, why would I sit here and lie to you, or BS you or finesse you when I hadn't seen him to form my own decision of what I think he could be? Right. It doesn't make sense. It's not fair to the argument, and then it's not respectful of y'all. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like Luca Vildoza, knowing that
you never seen him play.
Right. Exactly. So what I'm saying is I think the Knicks, however, are confident that this dude is going to give them more than they got from point guard last year. Right? Are they going to bring in other guys? To me, Derrick Rose is not a point guard. To me, Derrick Rose is an off the bench scorer. He's not a point guard. Because I saw him. Me and CP the artist were sitting side by side at Hudson's, right? And Nerlens Noel cut to the basket wide open 3 times, and Derrick Rose never attempted to throw Nerlens Noel a pass. Now, there's numerous reasons for that.
Catch it.
Right. I was gonna say, one, Nerlens Noel can't catch, and 2, Derrick Rose is a scorer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's never been a great playmaker for others. So okay.
Right. So now you have to consider the Derrick Rose debate. Did you bring Derrick Rose? Does Derrick Rose prevent Obi Toppin from getting better? Does Derrick Rose prevent Emmanuel quickly from getting better? This is a debate that you have to have. Right? Is Derrick Rose a starting point guard? Does Derrick Rose deserve to play heavy minutes? All of these things are conversations that you have to have because Derrick Rose is going to want the most bang for his buck. Derrick Rose is going to want premium money. And he deserves it. The dude can score 15 off your bench.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which I think is his perfect role. So
right. But how does that affect? How does that affect Obi Toppin?
Your development? Right.
Yeah.
And that's my question about Julius Randle as well. That's why I get into this whole discussion about him. But continue.
Right. And so Andy Garcia asked, how is Derrick Rose not a point guard? Bro, just because you're 6'2" doesn't make you a point guard. Right? Because right now, if Derrick Rose was 6'7", 6'8", would he still be playing a point guard position? No. He'd probably be a wing player. Right now, if you look at what he does offensively, he gets in the pick and roll as the handler and doesn't pass the ball to the roller or to shooters.
Like Chris Paul is a point guard.
Chris Paul is a point guard.
Trae Young is a point guard.
Trae Young is a point guard. Right. Now, and I know people won't agree because we love Derrick Rose. I like Derrick Rose too. But what I'm saying is, in an offensive facilitator, whose offense are you facilitating? Are you facilitating for others? Or are you facilitating for yourself?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's an honest conversation to have. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so if Derrick Rose is that guy, say for instance, if Derrick Rose is a facilitator and Uncle Freezy is wrong, right, then you don't have a point guard question because you have Vildoza and Derrick Rose. One starts, the other one's the backup.
Let me tell you what I feel about Vildoza. The Knicks there is a flag up for him. He doesn't have a guaranteed contract. So if the Knicks thought that he would have a guaranteed contract, his contract is not guaranteed.
Right.
So all they want to do is get a look at him. They said they heard about him. Now they want to see him in the summer league. They want to see if they can offer him a contract.
Right,
Not to say that he's the guy.
Correct.
And that's smart because if the Knicks didn't have that money during the season, it would have been a free for all to sign him. The Knicks just had so much leftover money that they can do something with, that they beat everybody to the punch. So they got him in camp early. So I don't think that they're saying that this is our guy and the search is over.
So Freezy, so back to your point. So now back to your question, Freezy, why did you think that search is over? Because I haven't seen anything that would make me think that.
So the reason why, and to what Rob is saying, the number of years on his contract. So there's like a commitment. It's basically the Knicks and Luca Vildoza are shacking up. Like they ain't married, but they still together. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They shacking up. They ain't married because both sides could just walk away. You know what I'm saying? But there is a commitment for 3 years. You know what I'm saying?
just like Doc Rivers' son.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, they shipped that real quick.
Right.
From my understanding, I think it was a 50-50. They needed to pay him at least this year, which is why he still got paid this year and didn't play, so he could get out of his contract overseas. And I think in turn, he signed a non-guaranteed contract. So it was like a 50-50 thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, you're right. It's just a tryout.
Yeah,
that's like a Vegas marriage. The next day you can wake up and say, nah, we don't want to do this.
Yeah. You can wake up and be like, yeah, girl, you was fine last night. You know, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, my point,
so back to Crazy. Yeah. Back to the point that of like, what makes you think that?
The reason why I think that is because there is a commitment by the Knicks to this guy. Because they could have did this on a 2-year deal, but they didn't. They did it on a 3-year deal, which means both sides actually kind of like each other, right?
But you don't think what Rob just said about Austin Rivers kind of puts that under the blanket a little bit?
Nah, because Austin Rivers' contract was for low money, totally guaranteed. This dude's contract was for a lot of years, partially guaranteed.
It wasn't totally guaranteed. That last year of his contract was not guaranteed.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that point. But what I'm saying is 3 years in NBA lifetime is a long time. Right? Think about it. Kevin Knox has been with us 3 years, and it seems like he's been with us forever. right?
So he would have to show and prove for us to keep him, but I can let him go at any time.
At any time,
Right.
Like Heat. If you see the Heat coming around the corner, you can walk away. Remember that?
Right.
And Robert De Niro.
Right.
And so based on that, Freezy. And I was just saying that based on that, I don't see how you would think that search is over.
Oh, you mean the reason why? Okay, so the thing I'm getting at is I think the Knicks are satisfied with Vildoza and Derrick Rose being a point guard tandem, right?
Oh,
I think Tibbs likes Derrick Rose.
Of course he does.
And I think the organization likes Luca Vildoza, right? Mm-hmm. Now, and it puts them in a position where they don't have to do a search, but if a point guard comes to them, fine, right?
But
what I'm saying is the manhunt, the dragnet, you know what I'm saying? The APB for a point guard, I think that part is over. Like
okay, listen, before you do that, you have to watch Luca play. And you have to determine on what you're watching. You have to determine whether you feel that search is over. Because I've seen him play. I've seen him play in about 8 or 9 games. And I do not believe this search is over by any shape, form, or measure.
Okay.
So I think you have to do that before you declare something like that.
Right. Well, no. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the organization. Right. So the thing is
but you're thinking that you're talking for the organization. You're thinking that the organization is done with that.
No, hear me out on
okay,
what I'm saying to the degree of search. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying the search is over. I'm saying the manhunt is over. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I agree with you, Freezy.
Right.
The panic for point guard is over.
Yeah. I don't think it's every cop in the area is looking for this one individual. I think it's we're going to do our due diligence, and if we come across a guy we like, we're going to take him. But if we don't, we'll be good with just bringing in a old veteran to back up Derrick Rose.
I got a better analogy.
I see what you're saying.
I got a better analogy for you. This is what they did. They picked up the usual suspects, and they got them in the lineup. Your boy is in the lineup.
Right.
But they didn't get the other person yet. So once they do the manhunt and they find who they're looking for, they're going to put him in the lineup, and then they can throw Luca out.
Right.
Say, look, bye.
Right.
So you're saying that Luca is possibly insurance policy.
You say what?
I said that you're saying that Luca is insurance policy.
They got Luca in custody.
No, they just got him in custody. They don't know if he's the guy yet. They hold.
Right.
They got him on a 24-hour hold.
Right. It's like they was looking for Heavy D, and they picked me up, and they like, yo, you look like a guy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm gonna keep you.
Hey, you talk about let me go home. They said no, we can hold you for 48 hours.
Right. So the thing is. With that and what I'm getting at it is I think the panic that the front office, that the owner has been in, because every time you see Dolan, everybody will be like, the first question you want to ask Dolan is, why you ain't got a point guard? Right? I think that part is kind of like, been tabled. You know what I'm saying? Because when you win a little bit in New York, you can table a lot of stuff. When you lose in New York, everything is on the table. Right, everything is on the table in New York when you lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like look at Brett Boone. Brett Boone, people like fire Brett Boone. His roster whack, but you got to fire. Everything is on the table, right? So what I'm saying is say the Knicks get into the draft, and at 19 they draft a wing. You know what I'm saying? At 21 they draft a big that can catch the basketball. Knicks fans are gonna be like, oh my, I can't believe we made it all the way to the draft. And we didn't draft a point guard. Calm down. The Knicks have a plan. You know what I'm saying? They just feel like they're going to pick value where they pick, right? They're not going to reach for a point guard when they feel like they can draft the best available player. And when free agency comes, they're not going to fall over backwards and sign Cameron Payne if Kawhi Leonard is out there. They're like, man, calm down. We'll get a point guard. But But Kawhi Leonard is once in a lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's what it is. You know, now maybe I'm looking at it differently, but I don't see the panic look that I used to see from the Knicks when it came to addressing the point guard situation.
Right.
Me neither.
I heard.
And I know,
we'll know
you
on draft
spoke
night.
about it. I know you guys spoke about it yesterday, Freezy, but I disagree. I think the Knicks draft 3 players this summer.
Oh, so
And
you
I
changed the subject. Okay, I got you. So you believe the Knicks are going to keep their draft picks?
Right, at least 3 of them. I think they draft 3, and I think they send 2 of them to the G League.
No, they
Correct.
got 2 first rounds. You can't send a first round to the G League.
Yes, you can.
No, not a first round pick. No, you can't.
Yeah, you can.
You have to agree in the first year.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, because the
But I'm
Toronto
saying
Raptors
you can still send them to the G League to get minutes.
Yeah, they sent
No,
Pascal Siakam.
It's a lottery pick. You can't send them. My bad.
Yeah, they sent Pascal Siakam to the G League for 2 years.
Yeah, it's a lottery pick.
Yeah, and that's how come Nick Nurse.
Right.
That's how come Nick Nurse knew what to do with Siakam when he took over the job, because he had been coaching them in the G League for 2 seasons.
Right. And remember who's in the G League? One of Thibodeau's old players. I think he's a coaching staff on the G League. So I think that's the route they might go with. They might get these players and then send them to the G League for development, and then still spend the money to fill out the roster. That way you're growing on both sides. You have young players in G League getting right, and then you have players on the roster that you sign over free agency.
I think we're in no way, and I agree, I think we're in no way, shape, or form a finished product as a roster, and we still need talent. And I'm not a big guy.
So
like we were talking about this yesterday. And we were talking about this yesterday. We were saying, like, everybody's looking for this quick fix. You know what I mean? Oh, we can get Eric Bessel here. We can get Malcolm Brogdon. Let's trade all our picks for the 10th pick. And then when I go and ask, okay, who will be your 10th pick? And all of a sudden, there's crickets. There was only one person that answered, and they answered to a Bo Knight. But the point being is that I think we're just still in the talent acquisition phase where, like, we still got to get as much assets and as much bodies as we possibly can.
Right.
So.
Right. And to your point, when I thought about it, I felt like that was the best way to bring in assets and from both ends, from draft and free agency. Like you said, there's not too many. There's only 15 roster spots,
Right.
And if you look at both teams, not even to say both teams, majority of the teams that were in the playoff, a lot of the role players played in the G League. And I was surprised to see that. Patrick Beverley played in the G League.
Yep.
He came up in the G League. A lot of these players ran to even though they got drafted, but they spent a year or 2 in the G League getting right before they got their opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I feel like that's the best way for Thibodeau and for us. We still get to draft the young kids, and he still doesn't have to necessarily feel pressure to play them their first year.
Right. So my thing is I want the Blorangetears family, Knicks fans all around, and just general NBA fans to understand this. A draft this deep does not come along every 5 or so years. This type of situation is once every 20 years.
Exactly.
Right? And what we need to do is take advantage of it. It would be LOL Knicks type stuff to see a draft this deep and the Knicks trade out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see the guy I want. I'm going to keep shopping. Nah, bro. You got to take it because it'll be criminal. It'll be criminal for the Knicks to give a roster spot to Novell Pell when you could take Isaiah Jackson.
Oh, my God. I was just going to say that. Yes.
But why would you keep Novell Pell on your roster when you can draft Isaiah Jackson and have him have – so for those that don't know, Isaiah Jackson is a Nerlens Noel with hands. Just think about it. If Nerlens Noel had hands, he'd be Isaiah Jackson right now.
And he has a jump shot that can be worked on.
Right. So just imagine if Nerlens Noel had hands and used his jumper, because Nerlens Noel has it's a spotty jumper. Like some games you'll see him take it, and some games he won't, which is frustrating. It's like Frank Ntilikina's three. Some games he'll shoot it, and some games he won't.
Yeah.
Right. And so we can get Isaiah Jackson, a Nerlens Noel clone with hands and a jumper, in Norvell Pell's spot. And when I ask a Knicks fan, what does Norvell Pell do? And you know what they'll say? Man, you know he played hard. Hey, bro. Everybody in the NBA that wants to stay there is gonna play hard.
Play hard.
You know what I'm saying? So that's not a skill. Like being 6'10" is not a skill, even though it's limited human beings that are walking around at 6'10". But what I'm saying is why keep a Norvell Pell on your roster when you can get Isaiah Jackson, send him to the G League, let him work on those deficiencies
Let him
that
get
we
right.
just had, right, and then in 22 have him be Nerlens Noel with hands and a jumper.
Yeah. And, my head was spinning yesterday hearing everybody just like want to trade up, give up all our draft picks and get these players like a Malcolm Brogdon. I'm like, son, this is our deepest draft like in 7 years.
Right.
We got to take
We've been
advantage,
talking about this
especially
draft for 3 years now.
Especially that we're in a talent acquisition phase.
Right. And it's the reason why a smart front office traded to get multiple picks in this deep draft.
Right.
Right. They planned ahead to be here. You think they planned ahead to be here to trade out for a guy that they could get in the draft? I don't think so.
Of course, I agree.
I don't think so.
Freezy, remember when you were saying how this is the first year where our rookies are in a winning environment?
Right.
Right.
And I feel like this is the best time for you to draft those so-called kids, those so-called draft picks with high upside. Is when you're in a winning environment, and you're not in a rush to throw them to the fire.
Right.
So that's when you draft these cats with high upsides and things like that, and then that's when it usually works out.
But you know what? This draft is so good that we might be picking up somebody at that 19 and 21, and they might be starting in the first game.
Right. You never know. You never know.
That's how deep this draft is.
Right. Because think about this. If you draft James Bouknight, does he start over Reggie Bullock?
Yes.
I mean, I just need somebody. Right. I just need some help from the virtual chat. Virtual chat. If we draft a James Bouknight, does he start over Reggie Bullock?
The minute he understands the defensive scheme, he's playing.
Starting.
He'll understand it on the plane.
And Bouknight's thing on defense, like he's right now, he's a defensive liability, right? But the thing about Bouknight is he's not a defensive liability because of energy and effort. It's because he picked up basketball late and just doesn't understand stuff. When Tibbs expands his defensive IQ, the dude might start and never come out the lineup again. That's what I'm telling you. The Isaiah Jackson kid, all he needs is polish and nuance. He needs to learn how to play with the NBA point guard, right? Once Isaiah Jackson gets into the rotation, you won't even remember Nerlens Noel. Y'all be like, you remember that dude? He used to play for us. The dude that was always blocking shots and getting hurt.
With no hands.
With no hands. Yeah, that's who Nerlens Noel would be, right? What I'm saying is in a deep draft, you have to at least take a chance because the chances are cheap, right? At 19 and 21, you're only paying dudes like $3 million a year for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
What? But you want me to sign Kelly Oubre to 4 years, $18 million per?
Yeah, absolutely.
What sense does that make when I could get BJ Boston to do the same thing for 4 years, $3 million per, right? Save $15 million a year and still be in the hunt for those big fish, the big game that the Knicks fans want. Right? Because Knicks fans wants to go big game hunting because they hurt that a star beat them in the playoffs. So they feel like by getting another star immediately, it gives us a chance to win. And I'm like, yo, right? I'm like this. George Foreman used to be the heavyweight champ. And so I'm an OG, right? And I remember George Foreman used to be the heavyweight champ of the world. He used to knock cats slam out, right? But Larry Holmes was the heavyweight champ after him, and Larry Holmes would point you to death. Larry Holmes was the Lennox Lewis of his era, right? He'd just be pitter-pattering, just jabbing, just jabbing. And people are like, this is boring. But you got the same result. You got wins, right? So you don't have to have a Trae Young if you're the Knicks. You don't have to draft the next Trae Young. You can just continue to build your team. Just build it up. Just keep building your team. Like for instance, make your small forward position better, right? Make your center position better. Whether it's Mitchell Robinson or a Mitchell Robinson replacement, just make that position better. Because I think Mitch has high upside, right? I think Mitch has high upside. It's just going to take him some time to get there. The game he got hurt in, you saw a glimpse because I think Mitch had like 16 and 13 in the second quarter, and then a clumsy dude was running and got his hand trapped and he broke his hand, right? But what I'm saying is this: upgrade positions.
So check this out, Crazy. Check this out, right? Let's go to everybody here and let's agree or disagree. Agree or disagree? Teams that have not had at least championship runs or contending championship runs in 5 or 10 years did not work through the draft. Agree or disagree?
Say that again.
Sure. I said that teams that had either championship runs or championship contending runs, right, for 5 or 10 years, for 5 years or a decade, did not build that team through the draft. Agree or disagree?
Disagree.
I disagree.
Really? Name me teams that were 5 or 10 years in a run like that and didn't build through the draft.
Oh, you said
you said didn't, run. And you said didn't build through the draft. Okay, all right.
Right. Yeah, right.
No. I agree. I think because the Golden State Warriors are the best example, right? Because they built through the draft first. Like people forget the Ekpe Udos, the Harrison Bonds, the Klay Thompsons, Draymond Green, Steph Currys.
Yes.
You know, people forget about how they drafted first, right?
Yes.
And then they brought in guys like Andre Iguodala.
Right. Then you bring in the guys. Right.
Right.
So look, another case, San Antonio.
Right.
Okay. How about another case? Chicago Bulls.
Right.
How about another case? Detroit Pistons. How about another case? Los Angeles, the Lakers. I mean, the old Laker runs. I'm talking about in the 80s. Those runs were sustainable because they built the right way.
No, I don't think Detroit. I would have to disagree with Detroit.
No. The old Pistons.
The old Pistons. The old Pistons. The old Pistons. The
80s. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, John Sally, Dennis Rodman. No guys.
Bill Laimbeer was drafted as well.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm saying that I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to see that there's a formula here that for sustainability, not a championship or two here. I'm talking about for a 5 to 10 year run. There's a certain formula and pedigree that's implemented in order for that to sustain.
Right.
Yeah. The draft. I agree.
Right.
So now understand we have championship aspirations, right? We want to see our Knicks championship contending or be in the finals, correct?
Yeah.
So it loses my mind when I see people talk about, trade up, I'll give this up for this guy and give this up for that guy. Those are quick fixes. We've done that for years.
Hey, D, I got a theory for that. Most guys that talk like that, they're in between the age of 18 and 31.
Right. Young.
Yeah. Because they haven't seen anything, and the only thing they know is 2K and the best player. They don't. If you ask 90% of those people how old is that player, they don't know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All they know is he's good right now and we need him.
Yep.
That's all they know. They don't know.
Right.
They don't look at his injury. Like I pointed out about Damian Lillard. I said, look, Damian Lillard to have a 40-point game and show out in the playoffs, and then sometimes during that series he either pulled that hamstring or something, or ankle or something. He got banged up, and then the next 2 games are not the same.
Right.
But they don't notice that.
Yeah.
They notice that 41 in the bye-bye.
And Rob and Freezy, check this out. Even right now, just last night, we literally witnessed 2 teams that most of their pieces built were through the draft.
Through the draft, yeah.
Right.
And that's why some people are building a team. They be like, oh yeah, you think the late man LeBron and them are on the way out the door. You better look who's healthy, still playing. You see how quick Giannis recovered because he's a young player. If that was Kawhi, you wouldn't. Nah, you don't see those. You don't see Harden and them sustaining injuries like that and coming back. Their age won't allow it. This guy was back in a week. That says something to everything. LeBron complaining about all the superstars the season was short and it hurt the superstars. That didn't hurt the superstars. Age hurt the superstars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because this is the thing I keep telling Rob and others that watch and contribute. Fresh legs want to run. That's what it is. Fresh legs want to run. It's the reason why. It's the reason why kindergartners get recess, because they want to play. When you go to work, when you sit in cubicle workers don't want to go outside and play and run because they got old legs. But young fresh legs want to run. That's just nature. And so here, the other thing I want to point out too is this. The way we lost was heartbreaking, right? And it's almost to a Knicks fan, and I hate to say this because I believe in a winning culture, but to a Knicks fan right now that's mourning that loss to the Hawks, it's almost as if it would have been better for them not to go to the playoffs, and which they did, than to go get a taste and get disappointed. And the reason why I say that is because while I understand that this is the next step in the Knicks' evolution of becoming a championship contender, because you're going to fail a lot of times before you win. That's what makes winning the championship so special, right? But for some, the way we lost hurt them so bad that they regret the fact that we lost. They don't think, well, we made the playoffs. They don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? They don't think about how the kids got experience in a playoff atmosphere. How Emmanuel Quickly and Obi Toppin have never been on a losing Knicks team. Think about what I'm telling you. Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly have never been on a losing Knicks team, right? And while it sounds simple, it's mind-blowing, right? Because for those of us that are Knicks fans, we've been losers forever. That's all we knew for the past 10 years is losing.
Wait, hold on, Freezy. Keep that thought for a second. Bodega said no team has 5 draftees starting in the playoffs. We never said that.
No,
what we said was that they draft their core and then they put the pieces around.
Right. And the thing about that though is 5 starters, that's a stretch. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because we know talent acquisition is talent acquisition, whether you do it by free agency or the draft. What we're saying is in order to build a foundation, you have to start somewhere. And if you start building your foundation in free agency, then you're doomed to be that team that's overpaying for vets that don't care about your organization and care about the check.
And can't make it past the second round.
Can't make it past. Right, because what grown man be like, yo, nah, man, I grew up, man, I've been a Memphis Grizzlies fan my whole life. So this 5 years max money that you offered me, it fit me. I've been a Grizzlies fan forever. Nah, bro. Nah, you don't get that. Dudes will be like, what's my role? Am I going to have say in personnel decisions? I want to be the number one option. I want to get max money. Those are the things that free agents talk about. The things rookies talk about is, oh, I'm so glad to be drafted. My mom, the first thing I'm going to do is buy my mama a house. I'm going to come in here and give everything I got. That's the way rookies talk. The way veterans talk is differently. And now,
And no, wait, hold on. And from the rookies from that, they make their own reality from that now, especially if it's a good organization and a good staff. Right.
Because they want to be a part of. To them, they're a part of something special already, saying the NBA fraternity. But when they hear their name called by the commissioner, you know what I'm saying? That's like saying with the number 7 pick in the NBA draft, the New York Knicks select D is balling out of Swag University. Blah blah blah. And when you hear your name, you're like, oh my God, they like me.
Yeah, you feel wanted.
Yes. But a veteran, you get text messages from your agent. Yeah, Memphis, interested in you. They think they can get more out of you if they transition you from small forward to small ball power forward. You're like, I ain't never did that before. How much money they asking?
Yeah, it's a totally different conversation. It's totally different engagement. Right.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. That's why when people bring up the thing about draft picks not doing such and such, what I'm saying is your mentality is different.
So check this out, right? Let's look at it. Let's look at an example where it failed, but it only failed because of moves that they made, right? Oklahoma City Thunder, right? They drafted Harden, they drafted Westbrook, and they drafted Durant.
Right.
So they effed up with Harden, and that just broke everything apart, right?
Right.
But we knew damn well if they retained Harden, OKC was the team of the decade.
Right.
We knew that.
Right.
They still went to the finals.
They still went to the finals, right? And then now look what they're doing now. They got all these damn draft picks. They picked up a young SGA, right? When was he, like a year or two in when they got him?
No, 1 year. 1 year in.
Look at that. When they got him, and they're starting the damn process again. And they're going to get some juicy picks this year. If they could get Scotty Barnes, oh boy.
Right, and so that's the thing. That's the thing that I wanted to mention. So you use the OKC example, right? So they drafted Kevin Durant and Jeff Green in the same draft, right? And then they drafted Russell Westbrook. They took a chance on an athletic shooting guard out of UCLA instead of a 6'10" center that had power forward potential. So they drafted Russell Westbrook over Kevin Love, right?
You got Serge too.
Right. And what I was going to say is the next year they drafted James Harden and Serge Ibaka in the same draft. Right. And then the next year they drafted a dude named Reggie Jackson.
Yep.
Right. And so they not only were they nailing their picks, but they were developing guys too.
Oh, yeah.
Because Reggie Jackson was raw. I mean, not raw, but he was not.
But didn't they get Adams too?
Yeah,
and they got Adams.
That's what I'm getting to. What I'm saying is teams generally don't nail every draft pick unless they have a developmental staff that's top notch.
Correct.
Right.
You see, so they did the first part right, but to retain and keep them together and have everybody paid is where they went wrong. But continue.
Right. And so they're where they made a bad decision was, do you pay James Harden or do you pay Serge Ibaka? And so their decision was to pay Serge Ibaka, right? Yeah. That was, and it didn't leave them enough room because they could have re-signed. They could have re-signed James Harden and go over the salary cap, but they just chose not to go over the salary cap.
That's just being cheap, and I think that was. I think that lesson was learned valuably.
Right. Yeah. If you ask them, right.
They looked at Harden as a defensive liability. That's why they pulled the trigger on Harden. Right.
And plus Harden was ball dominant, and then you already had two other guys that were ball dominant. Reggie Jackson does not want to pass the ball. Russell Westbrook is a triple-double threat, and then you have James Harden, right? So
I think if they was able to do that all over again, they would have got rid of. They would have let Russell walk.
Yeah. Or let Ibaka go. Because after that, the drafts had.
Yeah, I'm going with Ibaka.
Because after that, the drafts had a bunch of power forwards in it, and they could have got a power forward back, real cheap. But they chose to go the other way. So
right. But, so the point is, Freeze, right? We got to draft right. We're still in a talent acquisition phase. We're not set in our roster. We're still searching. And the fact that the coaching staff did what they did last year with what we did have, imagine what they're going to do this year. We're getting better talent.
Right. And one of the things that I said, let me acknowledge the super chat real quick. So Frank Corona, hey, thank you for the super chat platter. Frank says, I like your guys' argument, but coming to a wrong conclusion, in my opinion. Suns last year didn't make playoffs and added CP3, and now in the finals, Knicks were 4th seed, and now we need that 1 or 2 pieces to move us forward. Right. Now, so I don't disagree with that. Right. I think
I do a bit because they didn't have Monty to last year. And right. You could see the change starting to come, and then CP3 was like the icing on the cake to it.
Right. And so this is the reason why I disagree. Mm-hmm. What the Phoenix Suns gave up to get Chris Paul from Oklahoma City was criminal. Y'all don't even know. I mean, you don't. Do you remember what the Suns gave up?
They gave up a whole family tree for him.
But was it good players?
No.
Right. And the dude with the ponytail.
Nader.
No, I mean, OKC was just trying to get them draft picks. So they knew what they were doing with that.
Right. And you know how many draft picks they got?
They got like 5, 6, something like that.
They got 1 draft pick in that deal.
No.
1. Yes. I'll pull the trade. I'll search for the trade and pull up the details. But they got Abdel Nader and 1 draft pick for Chris Paul, and a whole bunch of bodies like to make salaries match and all that stuff.
Really?
Right. Really. Now when it comes to us and our search for Damian Lillard, the opposite thing is intact. Mm-hmm. Damian Lillard has never played with other superstars, right? Mm-hmm. Chris Paul has played with superstars before. Yeah. Damian Lillard has never played with other superstars, right? Damian Lillard has never played in a large media market. Chris Paul has.
Yes, he has.
Right. And so what I'm saying is all the variables. Like people think it's the same thing. Go get Damian Lillard. He'll do what Chris Paul did. Nah. Right? Because Chris Paul played with other stars and made other people better. Damian Lillard just balled out and compiled those stats.
But hold on, Freezy. You know what? Because I'm looking at that trade, right? You know what they did do though? They got rid of Oubre, Rubio, and I think they got some draft picks from that.
Okay.
So they actually got multiple draft picks from that deal because they kept Ty Jerome, and he's a rotational player for them.
Okay.
But
Yeah. So what I'm saying is what Phoenix paid for Chris Paul and what the Knicks have to pay for Damian Lillard are 2 different things.
I agree.
Right. And then just by experience alone, Chris Paul made Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan basically into all-stars. Like Blake Griffin was the number 1 pick in the draft, right?
Right.
And so Chris Paul took Blake Griffin and helped turn him into a megastar. You couldn't even watch NBA games without seeing Blake Griffin face. Right?
Yep.
At one point, Blake Griffin was kind of the face of the NBA. Right? And then tell me if this sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. Chris Paul took a super athletic freak center from the 2nd round, a lob threat rim runner, and turned him into borderline all-star.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. But has Damian Lillard done any of that?
No. But they're 2 different players, though. Let's keep that in mind.
But you got to pay 10 times as much.
Okay.
I'm just asking. I'm just asking for some.
Yeah, but you know what?
So what's your question, though, Freezy?
Okay, Rob.
What they had a lot to do with that too. That the what's his name? The GM promised Chris Paul he was going to land where he wanted to land. So
yes. And Oklahoma has a reputation for doing that.
Yeah.
looking out
He
for
said,
the
look,
guy.
he said, yeah, I'm gonna look out for you. So what they got back was still something with how they was able to flip the picks. Cause I know Rubio and Oubre,
With draft picks, yes.
yeah, they flipped them for more picks. So so it still worked out for them at the end of the day. But yeah,
Right.
they
Correct.
looked out for Paul too.
But I see your point, Freezy. So what's your question now?
So the question was catered to Knicks fans, like, why do you take the Chris Paul example and apply it to Damian Lillard when none of the outlying factors are similar? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Damian Lillard has never turned a guy with potential into a star. Right? Damian Lillard has never played with the number 1 pick in the draft. Or I can't remember if he did. I don't think he did. Right.
Mm-hmm. And who has made these comparisons? Nobody here, right?
Bro, are you serious?
Yeah, don't forget, I just came back, so this is
okay.
Yeah.
Bro, the Damian Lillard conversation is so hot and heavy, bro.
Oh god.
They're like, what are you waiting on? Trade that RJ, quickly, Obi, Mitch, and 6 first-round picks for Damian Lillard.
Right.
In my opinion, I'm asking you, like, why? Why would you do that?
Oh, Freeze, you already know my answer. I'm not going nowhere near something like that.
Right.
Me
right. And to be honest with you, last week, an NBA contributor made a video about what are the Knicks waiting on to do the deal, and I put his trade scenario on the screen. Right. I'll see if I can find it, but I put his trade scenario on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. About what it takes to get Damian Lillard and why hadn't this been done already. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see if I can find it, but
okay,
it's probably way gone. But my point to it all is, why would the Knicks give up so much stuff for one guy?
That's an unproven winner.
Right.
Because I remember very significantly when they made it to the Western Conference Finals that year, and Golden State didn't have Kevin Durant. We were looking for Damian Lillard.
Right.
Like, we were expecting him to explode that series.
Right.
So.
Right.
No, thank you.
Right. No doubt. I'm searching to see if I can find it in my history here on the. Oh, geez. I can't. Yeah, I won't be able to find it. I'm searching through it, but I watch so many YouTube videos, bro. It's buried in here somewhere. Yeah.
Go to your library.
Yeah.
You got to set up the Dewey Decibel system.
Yeah, man. Because I put the stuff on the screen, and to show you that this is what other teams and other fans around the NBA think about the Knicks and what they should do. So let me. Jeez, I'm trying to find it.
And don't forget, Freezy, we've had, while you're looking for that, we've had a history of this, of just picking up guys and expecting guys to come through, and it just doesn't work. It only works if you have a solidified core, or at least a solidified large portion of that core.
Right.
That's not a savior. It don't work that way.
Right. No doubt. Man, listen, I can't find it. I can't find it, man. But the point to it all is NBA contributor said the Knicks should give up RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox.
Kevin Knox.
Basically everybody except Luca Vildoza, Novell Pell, and Julius Randle. Give up everybody except Julius Randle, Novell Pell, Luca Vildoza, and all of the picks that we got going forward for the next 4 years for Damian Lillard.
That's a Net fan, man. They was being trolling. You was getting trolled.
It was, I feel like it.
Yeah, you was getting trolled.
I definitely feel like it. 5 players and 4 draft picks and then some second round picks for Damian Lillard.
Yeah, I wouldn't even entertain that nonsense. So.
Right.
I wouldn't even put it up.
Right. But That's what a national NBA contributor said would get the Knicks Damian Lillard. But anyway, y'all, I gotta wrap up here, man, because I gotta do some stuff for the pod couple. I got the pod couple is coming your way at 6:30. I gotta contact these guys to make sure that they
everybody on point.
Yeah, make
G
sure
Man for life. If you're watching this,
make sure Cornerstone get home from work.
Yeah, man, and get off that guitar and do his job.
Yeah. All right, though. All right.
Hey, appreciate everybody for coming through. Appreciate the chat. Make sure y'all tune back in for the pod couple. The pod couple soon come. Make sure y'all check out and support your boys. Thank y'all, man. I'll holler at y'all later.